So without further ado, it's Cebile Xulu next, and she's the people lead and HR director at Sub-Saharan Africa, Mondelēz International. She is a seasoned international HR professional and strategist with extensive generalist human capital experience, an accomplished leader with African and global experience in leadership development, talent management, and particular passion for the development of women and youth. She has numerous achievements and awards and was the 2018 Global HR Leader of the Year at Mondelēz International and a 2019 CHRO of the Year nominee. So, Cebile, over to you. Now what?
Thank you, Roy. Good afternoon, good morning, good day to everybody. Thank you for having us today, kind of sharing our experiences regarding what post-COVID talent management strategies would look like. I think from our perspective, what I really want to share so that I don't repeat what my fellow panelists have already spoken about are the opportunities that we have identified, and we've actually started doing some work in terms of how we kind of benefit from the whole COVID-19 pandemic in as far as managing our talent and retaining our talent. I think it was Njabulo who spoke about D&I. We've definitely seen this as an opportunity for us to be able to retain women and young people in our organization, as well as parents. Mondelēz is not new to flexible workplaces, but it was obviously not to the extent where it is now. But some of the decisions and the programs that we're putting in place will truly allow people to integrate the work and personal life and not necessarily feel like they have to choose work or raising families. I think particularly for South Africa, we've seen a trend in recent years where women are checking out of the workplace because it just becomes very difficult to balance the demands of work as well as your personal life in a society where women are still traditionally expected to be the homemakers. So I think for us, this is really a good benefit now that people can do work from anywhere else in the world where there are opportunities. Mobility is no longer an issue. I think 5 years ago, this was already somewhat the case in our business, where we've really leveraged technology to enable people to work from wherever they are in the world, of course, taking into account things like time zones, and making sure that people still are able to balance, their personal lives. If you are in Australia and you're supporting a South Africa team, you can imagine, the pressure that will bring on you from a time zone perspective. But people now have access to opportunities wherever in the company where they can find them without the need to actually physically relocate to those areas. And for us, this is a big plus. I think one of the other things that we've kind of benefited from is this forced leadership mindset shift in shattering some of the long-held perceptions about where and how work needs to be performed. I think we all have, traditional leadership in our organizations where people still think for you to do work, you must be physically in an office. So what we've done is we've embarked on a journey of actually repurposing our workplaces as a talent management strategy, not so much as a cost-saving, strategy, which will come, but there are other areas where we are saying we're not going to make that decision because from a talent retention perspective, it just doesn't make sense. If I look at our Nigeria offices, for example, we are not able to move people to co-working spaces simply because of availability of infrastructure, but also safety and security issues. But if you come down to South Africa, what we've done is we've said our office is no longer going to be a place where people drive for 3 hours every day to just come and sit at a desk and have virtual meetings with people outside of South Africa, which really didn't make sense. But we still had leaders who believed you have to show up in the office at least 3 times a week or 4 times a week. And then when there's an emergency, take the 1 day and work from home. Some conversations that we are having with our team have actually challenged the role of company policies, and this forms part of the social contract that we've got with our workforce. People are asking the question, okay, you are saying that you are not moving all the way to the end of the spectrum in terms of how you will allow greater flexibility. You are saying that you still expect people to come to the office at certain points in time for collaboration. But what exactly does that mean? If you've identified a certain activity as a collaboration activity that requires me to be physically in the office, and I do not want to be in the office, but I can still deliver the same quality of work. I can still participate in the project or in the activity through the technology that we've invested in. What happens to me? So these are all the kind of the dilemmas that we now face to say, oops, will we discipline people for not showing up for those particular activities that have been identified as collaboration activities? So we are on this evolving journey that is not yet come to an end, that doesn't have a lot of answers in terms of how are we going to deal with all these rules and these corporate policies that have been put in place that we said are to manage talent, but they're literally being shattered now by people saying, well, I can move and I can relocate to any country. Of course, there's tax implications, but if you need me to come to the office, why exactly would you need me to come to the office? I actually had an interesting conversation with someone who said, I honestly don't need my colleagues for social connection. I need my family and I need my friends. I can see my colleagues online. I've worked with people for 10 years that I've never physically met. So why would you not allow full and complete flexibility for me to decide where I'm going to do the work that I need to do? So I think this is, for me, has been an interesting, aspect of how do we really scrap all of these things that we've grown up to believe were necessary for us to manage talent in order for us to retain the talent that we've got. So Roy, I think my time is up.